Good evening from Lee's Summit High School, where we're about to bring you the third place game in the 37th annual Culver's Classic Shootout. Tonight's matchup, the Cupies of Columbia Hickman High School and the Raytown South Cardinals. Tonight's starting lineups for Hickman: at guard, a 6-foot freshman, Jimmy Witt. He's joined by 6'2" senior Chris Clark, 6-foot junior Vincel Teague, 6'6" junior Cecil Williams, and 6'4" senior Andrew Berry. For Raytown South in the backcourt, 5'6" J.C. Johnson, a junior. Also his classmate, a junior, 6'1" Diego Tyson. In the front court, it's 6'6" senior Kevin Thompson, 6'3" senior Earl Peterson, and 6'1" senior Justin Chigbagu. Winner will take third place here in this tournament. Championship game coming up following this one, which will pit undefeated Lee's Summit West against Blue Springs South. But first order of business is third place, and we're underway as the tip is controlled by the Cardinals and J.C. Johnson at point. This is Chigbagu. Johnson fires from the left wing, short. Rebound tied up, and it will go to Hickman. Johnson, with the quick trigger there from the left wing, scored just 1 point on Wednesday night in Ray South's 58-56 loss to Lee Summit West. This is Teague, who came off the bench Wednesday night, earned the starting nod here tonight. Williams on the drive, blocked by Chigbagu, but a whistle and a foul. Foul goes against Kevin Thompson. Thompson and Chigbagu both struggled with foul trouble in the semifinals Wednesday, as did the young man at the free throw line, Cecil Williams. First free throw, no good, so we remain scoreless, just over 30 seconds in. Columbia Hickman in the white with purple and gold trim, and Raytown South with the red and white uniforms, playing the role of the visitors. So Williams good on 1 of 2, and it's 1-0 Hickman on top in the early goings. This is Diego Tyson, who had the hot hand on Wednesday night with 21 points, but a difficult pass there that was taken away. Clark hit the deck, no whistle, but Hickman takes over into the front court. Teague slings it into Berry, but it's taken away by Tyson. Tyson with his head up, looking up court. Instead, on the wing, now Tyson gets it back. Peterson had a big fourth quarter to keep Ray South close against Lee Summit West Wednesday. Now Thompson, Tyson, Peterson, corner three, good. Earl Peterson with the first field goal of the game, and Ray South takes a 3-1 lead. This is Jimmy Witt, the talented freshman from Columbia Hickman. He had 10 points on Wednesday night against Blue Springs South. Had a little trouble in the early goings against that pressure defense. The miss corralled by Berry, who had it knocked away on the way up, and it'll stay at this end of the floor. 6:17 to play in the first quarter. 3-1 Raytown South on top of Columbia Hickman. Hickman got here into this consolation game by virtue of a 63-59 win over Ruskin Monday night and a 58-56. Check that. Raytown South with the win over Ruskin Monday and the loss to Lee Summit West. Hickman with a victory over Lee Summit North Monday and then the loss to Blue Springs South on Wednesday night. Bucket by Teague on the other end to tie us at 3. 5:50 to play now here in the first quarter. Tyson, low post, Thompson with good position. When he finds Chigbagu underneath, good extra pass, but couldn't get the roll. And now Johnson, Tyson with an open look from 3. That one rattles around and out. Fight underneath, it ends up with Chigbagu, and the big fella hits the deck. And we'll go to the free throw line. So Chigbagu and Thompson working hard on the offensive glass. And it's the senior Chigbagu who will go to the line. Foul called against Witt, I believe. So 2 for Chigbagu. Misses the first. Justin Chigbagu with foul trouble in the first quarter Wednesday night, and then made an immediate impact when he came onto the floor after halftime as Ray South built what became a 7-point lead over undefeated Lee Summit West before the Titans ultimately came from behind for a dramatic 2-point victory. Chigbagu splits the free throws and has Ray South back on top by a point. 4-3 our score, just under 5.5 to play in the opening quarter. This is Chris Clark, guarded by Peterson. Teague on the wing. Witt gets around Peterson, pulls up mid-range, high-arcing jump shot off the back rim. Barry fights for the rebound, can't get the putback though, and finally in the hands of Peterson. Had it poked away temporarily, has Tyson slicing to the basket, and Diego Tyson on the board with his first basket, and it's 6-3 Ray South. Teague driving, leaves it behind. Now this is Clark again, and he's called for carrying. So good defensive pressure by Peterson. Clark trying to get back to the middle of the court, got called for the palm. And the turnover gives it back to the Cardinals. 4:48 to play in the opening quarter. 6-3 Ray South on top. Peterson with a deep three. Banks it in. Peterson's second three. Didn't call a glass on that one, but they'll count all three. And it's 9-3. A 6-point lead for the Cardinals. A little smile on the senior Peterson's face. Clark thought about answering the three, instead drives. Nowhere to go, got a little too far under the basket, and here's Tyson wanting to push. Peterson's hit a pair. Leaves it to Tyson to try one. Rattles out. Thompson on the offensive glass. Falls down though, and it's taken away by Clark. No numbers, but he's going to push anyway. A little bit of contact, but he gets the roll. Nice finish by Chris Clark. In traffic, he kind of limps up the court. And the other way, it's Johnson at the top of the circle. Tyson driving baseline. Floater, too strong. Chigbagu with another offensive rebound. Off balance, throws it up off the glass. Tyson there to clean it up, but Diego Tyson, favoring his left ankle, might have come down on the foot of another player, and he immediately comes off the floor and is yanking on his shoestrings for that left foot. Tyson's basket makes it 11-5 Ray South with 3:39 to play. Substitution while Tyson gets worked on just off the Hickman bench. It's Harold Roberts, the 6-foot junior, who checks in to take his place. 11-5 our score. 4 points for Tyson, 6 points for Earl Peterson. But Tyson being worked on the sideline after apparently turning his ankle after that putback. Cecil Williams leaves it for Clark, who takes a corner three. No good. Rebound. Chigbagu. Now time for Roberts to line up a three, and he hits. Earl Roberts making a quick impact, and the lead swells to 9. Timeout Hickman, as it's South racing out to a 14-5 lead. So 3 triples for the Cardinals in the early going to provide the margin so far here in the first quarter. Tonight's broadcast brought to you by A&B CarStar. Collision or repair, A&B CarStar has locations throughout the Kansas City metro area. Check us out online for the closest location to you at carstar.com or call the Riverside location for more information, 816-741-6966. A&B CarStar is proud to be the title sponsor of 810varsity.com and sponsor high school sports year-round throughout the metro area. Some applause from the fans as Diego Tyson made his way from beyond the Hickman bench back to his own bench after being tended to there for a few minutes. And now back to action. It's Hickman ball trailing by 9. And now Teague, as he made his stop into the paint near the free throw line, gets called for a travel. And so it's back over to Ray South with a chance to extend into a double-digit lead. Also checking in at that last timeout, Gerald Cook, a 6-foot senior for Ray South. Peterson in the paint, has it rattle off, and it's rebounded by Andrew Berry, who hands off to Teague. And now Hickman into the front court. Clark, Witt for three. Air ball, but Williams is there for the rebound, and he puts it in and fouled. Cecil Williams with the putback. And we'll have a chance for the three-point play. 14-7. Ray South on top, 2:18 to play here in the first quarter. Another substitution coming as Ryan McDowell checks in for Chigbagu. And now to the scorer's table, E.L. Dorma, senior forward for Hickman, who made a good impact off the bench Wednesday night, leading the Cupies with 12 points. He replaces Andrew Berry. So a free throw coming for Cecil Williams, who has 3 of the 7 Cupie points. Back iron on the free throw attempt. It was off the hands of Dorma, but Earl Peterson of Ray South controls. And it's Cardinals basketball. Approaching the 2-minute mark of the first quarter, 7-point lead for Ray South. 14-7 is our score. Peterson has hit 2 threes early. Steps back here, now drives baseline. Good move. He had his man off balance, but already made his decision to pass. Otherwise, he'd have had an open little 4-footer there. Instead, back out on the perimeter. This is Roberts, who replaced the injured Tyson. We'll see if Tyson gets further treatment or if he comes back in the game. With a 7-point lead, we may at least see him sit here these last couple minutes of the first quarter. Good move by Cook. Got his man in the air and draws the foul. This one called on the floor, I believe, before Cook went back up with the left hand. Foul against Cecil Williams. And it is a baseline inbound, and it's Peterson who will trigger the offense. Roberts, Peterson, Cook. Number 3, Rodney Hill in the game for the first time as well. And Peterson knocks down his 3rd three of this first quarter. Earl Peterson with 9, 17-7. As the Cardinals now extend to their largest lead at 10. 1:10 to play here in the first quarter. Witt guarded by the aforementioned Hill. Clark wants a 3 from the corner. No good. The rebound on the deck. It's Cook who has it and gives it over to Peterson. So under a minute to play now. Cardinals in control, 17-7 with possession as well. So Hill, Peterson, Roberts, Cook, and McDowell on the floor. Peterson in the paint, floats, back iron, too strong, tapped in by Gerald Cook. Gerald Cook did not play Wednesday against Lee Summit West, but early playing time tonight for the senior. And it's 19-7, Ray South on top. Williams right to the rim, but he can't get the roll, a little too strong. Now Dorma collects the miss and puts it in. E.L. Dorma with 2 points, and it's 19-9, back to a 10-point game, and this will be the last possession here of the first period. Under 5 seconds now. Peterson has it knocked away by Teague. Vincel Teague under a second, launches one up from beyond half court, and that one draws nothing, but it ends with a 19-9 lead. Raytown South over Columbia Hickman. In this consolation game, winner will take the 3rd place trophy home. Loser will take 4th place. In our first set of games tonight, it was O'Hara defeating Lee Summit for 7th place, 66-57. O'Hara defeating the Tigers. And the 5th place matchup, it was Lee Summit North defeating Ruskin. Tonight's broadcast also brought to you by Christian Brothers Roofing. If you're going to trust the roof over your head, you need to trust your roofing company. With Christian Brothers Roofing Company, you get years of experience and integrity. Don't wait until you know there's a problem. Contact us for a complimentary 16-point roof and gutter inspection at Christian Brothers Roofing, 816-453-ROOF or at 453roof.com. So just about ready for the start of the second quarter. Ray South in command with a 10-point lead, 19-9, led by senior Earl Peterson with 9 points, coming on 3 triples. Diego Tyson with 4, Harold Roberts with 3. For the Cupies of Hickman High School, it's Cecil Williams with 3, and then 1 basket each for Clark, Dorma, and Teague. So we're underway in the second quarter. This is Rodney Hill. Same 5 on the floor as ended the first period for the Cardinals. It's Peterson, McDowell, Roberts, Hill, and check that, Elijah Lamb in the game now, making his first appearance, number 30, a 6'5" senior for the Cardinals. On the floor for Hickman, it's Witt, Dorma, Williams, Clark, and Daquan Dixon, who started Wednesday night, but seeing his first action here as we start the second quarter. Peterson with an aggressive move through the left side of the paint and lays it in uncontested. Peterson, first scorer in double figures. He's got 11, and the lead back to 12. 21-9, Ray South on top. Witt pulls up from the baseline. Looked like some contact there. Shot came up short. Rebound ended up in the hands of Cecil Williams before being knocked away, but a foul, I believe, on Hickman. It is on E.L. Dorma, the senior. 3 team fouls on the Cupies. The first on E.L. Dorma. And so the ball back over to the Cardinals, who promptly turn it over. A errant bounce pass from Hill, trying to get it to McDowell as they neared the timeline, but the turnover sends it back to Hickman, trailing by 12. 6:52 to play here in the first half. Clark out to Witt. Daquan Dixon driving baseline. Nice move, Daquan Dixon on the board with a pair. And it's 21-11, Raytown South on top. Trap at the timeline and a travel. Nice trap there by Witt and Williams. Hill caught in no man's land. Called for the walk, so 2 straight turnovers by the Cardinals. And it's Hickman basketball, 6:36 to play in the first half. 21-11, Ray South on top. Clark inbounds to Witt. Looks like Clark was holding his left thumb prior to the whistle to get that ball in bounds. Wonder if it got jammed on a rebound scrum or on a pass. We'll keep an eye on that. Dixon, who just scored, dishes nice little pass inside to E.L. Dorma, who has his second basket. So Daquan Dixon making a nice quick impact. And now Hickman continues to extend the defense. Timeout here, Ray South, as the trap collapsed on Earl Peterson. So a couple baskets in a row to get it back to single digits for Hickman. It's 21-13 here, early minutes of the second quarter. Follow live brackets and watch games online at 810varsity.com, the new home for Kansas City High School sports. If you like 810 Varsity now, buckle your seatbelts as a new redesign is set to launch in a few weeks. Team and league pages, full sport coverage from football to soccer to wrestling. And, of course, no one brings more games live online than 810varsity.com. Over 250 broadcasts this school year, live or archive. Watch games online at 810varsity.com. Out of the timeout, Ray South basketball with an 8-point lead. They've led by as many as 12 on a couple of occasions. It was now 21-13. Lamb, guarded by Dorma, steps back for a deep jumper, comes up way short, and Cecil Williams collects the rebound. Witt looking to push a little bit. Witt floating into the paint. Nice touch by Jimmy Witt, the lanky freshman, with his first basket. And it's down to a 6-point game. Now nearly a turnover as Witt almost took the ball away from Roberts. It's tipped into the seats over the Hickman bench. Chigbagu and Tyson back in. Tyson, after a turned ankle late in the first quarter, checking back in for the first time. 6 straight points for Hickman to cut what was a 12-point lead down to 6. A little momentum for the Cupies from Columbia. Peterson off the screen, guarded by Williams. Leaves it for J.C. Johnson. It's Johnson, Peterson, Tyson, Chigbagu, and Elijah Lamb, who now has the ball on the left wing for the Cardinals. 5:15 to play in the first half, 21-15, Ray South on top. It was 19-9 after the first quarter, but 6-2 here through the first 3 minutes of the second period has brought Hickman back within arm's length. Tyson. Now J.C. Johnson guarded by Witt. He'll back it out a little. And now Chigbagu. Back to J.C. Johnson. Pressured by Chris Clark. And now it's back in the hands of Tyson. Tyson scored 21 to lead the way for Ray South, including a big three that tied Lee Summit West with a minute to play Wednesday night before they ultimately fell by a single basket. Thompson back in to replace Lamb, so now this is the original starting five on the floor for Ray South. 4:29 to play in the second period. Ray South by 6 with the basketball. Johnson here guarded by Witt. Now Peterson. He's got 11 to lead all scorers. Chigbagu, strong move into the paint, and he'll go to the line. Chigbagu guarded by Cecil Williams. Decisive move once he caught the ball and set his feet. And he's rewarded for that aggressive move with 2 free throw attempts. Foul went against E.L. Dorma, who's got 2. And Chigbagu back to the free throw line where he split 2 early on to account for his lone point of the evening. First one is pure. Andrew Berry checking back in for Dorma for Hickman. One more free throw for Chigbagu, whose first free throw extended the Raytown South lead back to 7. Chigbagu now 3 of 4 from the line. The Raytown South lead at 8 points, 23-15 as we approach the halfway point here of the second quarter. It's Dixon, Berry, Williams, Clark, and Witt on the floor for Hickman. This is Dixon. Tried a little floater there. No good. And now in transition, Tyson. Peterson slams it home. Earl Peterson on the dish from Diego Tyson. And it's back to a double-digit lead, 25-15 with 3:45 to play in the half. Peterson with 13 points to account for most of the damage. And now a zone look for the first time from Ray South. Berry on the post, a little short. Dixon, nice follow. Daquan Dixon with 6 points. Dangerous pass on the sideline, saved in nicely by Peterson. Now Thompson with a spin, can't get the roll, rebounded by Cecil Williams. 25-17 our score, approaching 3 minutes to play in the second quarter. Cecil Williams finds Dixon in the corner. Thought Berry was going to be there on the low post to catch that bounce pass, but ended up in the hands of the Cardinals, and the other way comes Ray South. Quick trigger. Diego Tyson with his first long-range jumper. The three gives him 7 points on the night, and the lead back to 11, 28-17. Cardinals on top with 2:45 to play in the half. Witt in the corner, guarded by the bigger Chigbagu. Floater from the baseline, no good. Berry with the rebound. Under the basket, goes up and in. Andrew Berry with his first basket. And 28-19, Ray South now on top by 9. Johnson, bounce pass to Thompson. Thompson caught it but wasn't ready to go up with it. Now Tyson out to Peterson. 2:15 to play in the first half. 28-19, Ray South on top with the ball. Nice pass to Chigbagu, but he blew the layup. Great look by Johnson, and Chigbagu mad at himself for missing the bunny. So as we go under 2 minutes to play, it remains a 9-point lead. Raytown South on top of Columbia Hickman. Now the other way, 3 no good by Witt. Tapped out by Berry after his missed putback. And Witt into the paint, loses control, but it'll stay at this end. Couple of substitutions, number 24s on both sides. Jay Taylor for the Cardinals and Vincel Teague back in for the Cupies. 1:47 to play. 28-19, Ray South on top. And it will stay at this end. Deep post position for Cecil Williams, but he can't get it to go. Now steps out, and it's in Clark's hands for a three. Pure from Chris Clark. Clark now with 5 and the lead back down to 6 with 1:25 to play in the first half. So it's been as many as 12, but it's half that now as we approach 1 minute to play. Just when it seems like the Cardinals pulling away, Hickman scores a couple of buckets to get back in striking distance. And especially considering the performance of the senior Earl Peterson, who's got 13, and Tyson with his 7. Hickman likely would feel good about this being a 2-possession game into the locker room at halftime. But still a minute to play, now actually under 50 seconds to play. Johnson over to Peterson, who's hit 3 triples here in the first half. Under 40 seconds to play now in the second quarter. Ray South maybe milking it here for a last possession. This is Peterson guarded by Clark. Now off a screen from Thompson. He goes right. Dangerous pass out to Johnson, who did well to corral it in front of the Hickman bench. And now Peterson takes it back out to the timeline as we're under 30 seconds to play in the half. 28-22, Ray South on top. Hickman led 1-0, and it was their only lead of the game. Ray South has led by 12 on several occasions. Now Peterson, who's had the deadly hand here, misses. Rebound on the deck. 2 seconds, 1 second, and the time expires in the first half as Chris Clark cradles the ball. Hickman pulls within 6 here in the closing minute, and we'll go to the locker room with Ray South leading 28. Columbia Hickman 22. We'll step aside for halftime and be back for the second half. You're watching the 37th Annual Culver's Classic Shootout on 810varsity.com. Back at Lee Summit High School, we are getting ready for the start of the second half of the third place game. It is Raytown South 28, Columbia Hickman 22. The Cardinals paced in the first half by senior Earl Peterson, whose 3 triples contributed to his 13 points, which is a game high. Diego Tyson with 7. And for Hickman, who's trailed by as many as 12, a balanced effort as Dixon has 4, Chris Clark with 5, and 4 other scorers as well with single baskets to account for their 28 points, or 22 points rather. Opening possession of the second half leads to a foul called against senior Justin Chigbagu, his first. Teague sprinting in, gets the pass and the bucket off the inbound. Vincel Teague with his second basket of the evening, and it's down to a 4-point game. This is as close as Ray South has been, or check that, as close as Hickman has been to Ray South since midway through the first quarter. This is Johnson on the inbound, and Earl Peterson, the senior, now hands it back to Johnson. It's Johnson, Peterson, Chigbagu, Thompson, and Tyson, the original starting 5 on the floor, and J.C. Johnson from long range puts the lead back to 7, 31-24. Ray South on top. That's the first bucket of the night for J.C. Johnson, who did not have a field goal Wednesday night as well, and now the other way, a turnover on Chris Clark. So back to Ray South with 7:05 to play in the third quarter. Ray South in the consolation game after a victory Monday against Ruskin and a 2-point loss to Lee Summit West Wednesday night. Hickman with a 6-point win over Lee Summit North, and then a semifinal loss to Blue Spring South, 55-43. Coming the other way, this is Chris Clark. Cecil Williams will spot up for that 3. Front iron, no good. Board bounces around, out of bounds, and it'll go over to the Cardinals. Chigbagu and Barry battling for it. But it's Ray South basketball, 6:35 to play in the third quarter. Cardinals 31, Cupies 24. Tyson led all scorers with 21 in the semifinal loss to Lee Summit West. He had 7 in the first half, missed a few minutes near the end of the first quarter and the beginning of the second quarter after turning his ankle, scoring one of his baskets. There he is in the paint, knifing through, got it to the rim, but came up short, and now Andrew Berry high for the rebound for Hickman, pushing, trailing by 7. Clark to the left hand, had trouble corralling it after the ball got deflected, and rebounded by Ray South. Now into the front court. Tyson to Chigbagu, who tried to wrap it around with the left hand but didn't get the roll. Justin Chigbagu lets out a little bit of a roar in frustration after missing that difficult lay-in. So it remains a 7-point lead, 31-24. Ray South on top of Hickman, 5:35 to play here in the third quarter. Third place for the winner, fourth place for the loser. Barry on the post, spins one way, goes the other, and it rattles out. Tough break for the senior Andrew Barry, as that one looked like it was halfway down. But back for the Cardinals, led by J.C. Johnson. So just one bucket each way here in the first nearly 3 minutes of the second half. Raytown South leading by 7. Johnson off of the screen. Clark is there to pick him up, and now it's Tyson to the left. Difficult shot from the baseline, comes up short, and another rebound for Andrew Berry. And now Witt pushing it into the front court. Cecil Williams into the paint. Elbow jump shot off the iron, no good, rebounded by Earl Peterson. Peterson, aggressive move, pulls up, short jump shot, good, over Cecil Williams. Earl Peterson with 15. Lead is 9. Timeout Hickman, 30-second timeout, with Ray South leading 33-24. Tonight's broadcast brought to you by A&B CarStar, collision or repair. A&B CarStar has locations throughout the Kansas City metro area. Check us out online for the closest location to you at carstar.com or call the Riverside location for more information at 816-741-6966. A&B CarStar, proud to be the title sponsor of 810varsity.com and sponsor high school sports year-round throughout the metro area. So this game here for third place, shaping up kind of as might be expected, especially based on what we saw here Wednesday. Ray South with a little more offensive firepower. They've got the two primary scorers, Tyson and Peterson, contributing again, but just as we saw from Hickman against Blue Springs South on Wednesday, this is a resilient bunch of Cupies who always seem to keep battling back. We've seen them trail by as many as 12 on a few occasions. Got it down to 4 just at the start of the half here. Foul away from the ball here. Well away from the ball as that whistle came. Harold Roberts called for the foul after he had just checked in. That foul was called before the ball even came across half court. Williams free throw line, one dribble, cut off by Thompson, but Teague open for three, front iron, no good. Rebound by Clark, goes up. Looked at that one, might have been deflected. Peterson trying to corral the rebound. Lost it out of bounds, so it'll stay at this end of the floor. 4:11 to play in the third quarter. 33-24, Ray South on top. It is Witt, Clark, Williams, Teague, and Barry on the floor for Hickman. That's the original starting five. Off the screen, Witt has an open look from the right wing. No good. Williams there in good position for the putback. So Cecil Williams with 5 points. As we go under the halfway point of the third quarter, lead down to 7. 33-26, Ray South on top. It's Peterson, Johnson, Roberts, Thompson, and Chigbagu on the floor for Ray South. Roberts, top of the circle. Too strong, over the backboard, and it'll go back over to Hickman. Substitution brings Daquan Dixon in for Vincel Teague at the 3:37 mark here of the third quarter. Ray South on top, 33-26. This is Chris Clark, who's handled the point duties for the most part here this evening, and now Clark on the wing. Williams back to Clark. He's hit 1-3 already. This time he drives baseline. That one came up well short, just brushing the net, and now Johnson looking to push. Roberts to the rim. Harold Roberts lays it up and in. Harold Roberts will go to the line for an old-fashioned three-point play attempt. Foul against Cecil Williams, who has 2. First team foul of the second half. E.L. Dorma making his first appearance of the second half for the Cupies now as Barry takes a seat. And Roberts, who has 5 points on the night off the bench, can push this to a double-digit lead once again if he converts here. Back iron, though, and rebounded by Williams. Approaching 3 minutes to play in the third quarter. Ray South 35, Columbia Hickman 26. Ray South students chanting air ball at Chris Clark, who came up short on a jumper his last time down the floor, but here it's Witt. A reach on J.C. Johnson before the shot. First foul on Johnson, third against the Cardinals in the second half. Witt driving right, nice through the paint, and banks it in. Nice move by the freshman, Jimmy Witt. His second bucket of the night. And the Ray South lead is 7. 35-28, approaching 2.5 to play here in the third quarter. Nice move there by the lanky Jimmy Witt. And the other way, it's Chigbagu looking for position. Tried to shuffle it over to Kevin Thompson, who wasn't ready. So the turnover gives it back to the Cupies, who can cut it back to a 2-possession game. Clark, Witt, Dixon, Williams, and Dorma on the floor for Hickman. And it's Peterson, Thompson, Chigbagu, Roberts, and Johnson for the Cardinals. Nice drive all the way to the rim. Chris Clark with the bucket, and the lead down to 5. 35-30, Ray South on top, trying to push. Chigbagu, the big fella, out to Peterson. Wants a 3 from the right wing. No good. Rebound, Jimmy Witt. Under 2 to play now in the third quarter. 35-30. Dixon was trying to get it to Dorma, who was stepping the other way at the time, but it was knocked out by Harold Roberts. McDowell and Gibbs into the game for Ray South. Williams with good position. Gives it out to Clark, though. Clark drives. Leaner in the paint. Can't get the roll. Williams hacked on the way up. Will have 2 free throws. So momentum shifting back toward the Cupies, who've scored the last 2 buckets to pull within 5, and now 2 free throws for Cecil Williams. That foul went against Tyrone Gibbs. Williams good on the first free throw. He's got 6 points tonight, 2 of 3 from the free throw line. And he has the Cupies within 4. 1:51 to play in the third quarter. 35-31 our score. 1 more free throw for Williams, and he's good again to cut it to a 3-point game. Elijah Lamb comes in to give Earl Peterson a rest. And now a little full court pressure being shown by the Cupies. McDowell, Roberts, Lamb. Now into the half court, trying to get it inside to Gibbs. It was kicked. So it'll stay at this end of the floor with 1:38 to play in the third quarter. Again, a resilient effort by the Cupies to stay close. Lamb off the inbound, loses it. Now in the hands of McDowell, who steps back for a jumper. No good. Rebound, E.L. Dorma. And here comes Hickman. Witt to the rim. Contact and free throws coming. So Hickman now attacking more on offense, and it's paying off as it's a 1-possession game, and Witt to the free throw line with a chance to cut it to 1. The foul went against Ryan McDowell, the 5th team foul against the Cardinals, who by my count have 7 players with a single foul, but no one with as many as 2. 5 points for the freshman Jimmy Witt, give him 6 with the second free throw, and just like that, an 8-0 run by the Cupies has it down to a 1-point game. And now a near turnover, and it is a turnover right in front of the Hickman bench. McDowell bouncing it to Elijah Lamb, who wasn't ready for it. And now timeout for Brad Ostrich and the Cardinals, who've seen their lead evaporate to a single point. And out of the timeout, it'll be Hickman basketball. Tonight's broadcast on 810varsity.com, also brought to you by Christian Brothers Roofing. If you're going to trust a roof over your head, you need to trust your roofing company. With Christian Brothers Roofing, you get years of experience and integrity. Don't wait until you know there's a problem. Contact us for a complimentary 16-point roof and gutter inspection at Christian Brothers Roofing, 816-453-ROOF or at 453roof.com. So resetting out of the timeout, 1:19 left in the third quarter. Raytown South 35, Columbia Hickman 34. Lead's been as big as 12, but this is an 8-0 run here that has the Cupies of Hickman back within a point and a chance to take the lead on this possession. Corner 3, good! Hickman on top by 2, just the second lead change and the first lead since 1-0. And now a walk in the backcourt on Lamb. So Hickman on top 37-35 with the ball and all the momentum with an 11-0 run. So the big 3 that gave him the lead, I'll apologize in advance for the young man number 20 on Hickman, who does not appear on the roster and in the scorebook that we have. They tried to get it back to him in the corner, and Peterson read it and picked it off. So under a minute to play now in the third quarter. Raytown South basketball trailing for the first time since the first minute of the game. 37-35, Hickman on top. They trailed by 10 after 1. They trailed by 6 at halftime, but an 11-0 run has the Cupies on top by a pair. It's Roberts, Hill, Peterson, McDowell, and Gibbs on the floor for the Cardinals. Peterson, left wing 3, short, rebound tapped around, ends up in the hands of Harold Roberts. Right place at the right time, Harold Roberts now with 7 points, and he ties it up at 37. Now under 10 seconds to play in the third quarter. Clark almost lost it. Clark now driving with an opening to the paint. Can't get the roll, tapped around. Off balance shot by Clark at the buzzer, no good. So after 3 quarters, all tied at 37, Raytown South and Columbia Hickman battling for third place here in this 37th annual Culver's Classic at Lee Summit High School. Follow live brackets and watch games online all weekend and all throughout basketball season at 810varsity.com, the new home for Kansas City High School sports. If you like 810 Varsity now, buckle your seatbelts as a new redesign is set to launch in a few weeks. Team and league pages, full sport coverage from football to soccer to wrestling, and of course no one brings more games live and online than 810varsity.com. Over 250 broadcasts this school year, live or archive. Watch games online at 810varsity.com. So in store for a good finish here in our consolation game as Hickman has erased what was a 12-point deficit. And we will play the final 8 minutes starting from scratch. 37-37 is our score. Leading all scorers, senior Earl Peterson for Ray South with 15. Tyson with 7. Harold Roberts off the bench with 7. And now they'll blow this dead as the clock had not reset. And now we are officially underway in the fourth quarter. All tied up at 37. An 11-0 run carrying over from the end of the third period. Check that, the bucket by Harold Roberts ended that run to tie it up at 37. It's Peterson, Tyson, Hill, Gibbs, and McDowell on the floor to start the fourth quarter for the Cardinals. And being patient here in the half court on the opening possession, 30 seconds in. This is Rodney Hill. McDowell, guarded by Williams. 37-37 our score, 7:20 to play. At stake, third place here in the Culver Classic. Tough catch by Gibbs, extra pass to McDowell for the lay-in. First bucket for Ryan McDowell. Puts Ray South back on top, 39-37, 1 minute into this fourth quarter. Left wing three, no good, rebounded by Hill with one hand. And now looking to push up the floor with some priority. Hill, all the way in, and he's fouled. Got into traffic, couldn't do much with it based on the position he got to, but kind of got squeezed by a couple of Cupies in there. I believe the foul is going to go against Witt. It is against Jimmy Witt, his second. Just the second foul this half for Hickman. So Cardinals ball and a 2-point lead with 6:45 to play. Good crossover by Hill into the paint, and a block is going to be called on Cecil Williams. Williams slid under the basket, try and jaw the charge, but it will be the senior Rodney Hill going to the line looking for his first points of the night. Third foul on Cecil Williams. Free throw touched just about all the iron and then went down for Rodney Hill. 40-37 our score. Still to come tonight following this game, the championship game of the Culver Classic Shootout, pitting undefeated Lee Summit West against the Jaguars of Blue Springs South in what should be an excellent matchup between the number 1 and number 7 ranked teams in the 810varsity.com top 25. Foul off of the miss was on Ryan McDowell, his second, and the 6th against Ray South. So bonus the rest of the way for the Cupies. 3 from the corner, good. And we're tied once again at 40. And now a turnover by the Cardinals, lofting it into the front court. A little confusion with that little backcourt pressure shown by the Cupies, and with 6:18 to play, Cupies can take the lead again. Pass deflected, but Cupies maintain control. Witt, the drive, cut off on the baseline by McDowell. Now Williams has it. Witt has some space on the baseline, leans in, there's contact, goes down, and Witt to the line for one more. Jimmy Witt with a nice move on the baseline. He's got 8 points. Foul went against McDowell, who quickly has 3. Cupies back on top, 42-40 with exactly 6 minutes to play. Pure on the free throw. Jimmy Witt 3 of 3 from the line. 9 points to lead the Cupies, who with a 3-point lead have their largest lead of the night. Hill splits the pressure. Now some space into the front court. Thompson had trouble controlling that pass though, so they'll reset. Peterson calling for Hill, who cuts the back door. Now pulls up. Off the glass, no good. Chikbagu tried the tip, but couldn't control it on the way down. Now a foul. And it will be Cardinals basketball on the baseline. Foul on Cecil Williams. He's got 4. Right up is Peterson in traffic. Got his own miss and puts it in. Nice work by Earl Peterson, who's got 17. And it's 43-42. Hickman by 1 with just under 5.5 to play. Seats starting to fill up here in anticipation of the championship game, and they should be in store for a good finish here in the consolation game, as Hickman has battled back from a 12-point deficit to take the lead here. We're about 3 minutes into the fourth period. This is freshman Jimmy Witt, who's had a solid game, and another 3 from the right wing. Third 3 of the game for number 20, Johnson. Apologies for not having a full roster. To credit that young man for what is due, as his 3-pointer put the Cupies back on top. Scoreboard showing 45-42, but I believe it should be 46 based on that 3. We'll see if that gets corrected. Foul. Foul went against Cecil Williams, who is now done for the evening. 5 team fouls now on the Cupies. Ray South has committed 7 fouls, so Hickman will be in the bonus the rest of the way. And right now, Hickman enjoying its largest lead, 46-44. Nice cut and nice look by Chikbagu. Peterson couldn't finish it, but he will go to the free throw line with 4:41 to play. Hickman on top, 46-42. Free throw rattles out, but one more for Peterson, who has led the way for the Cardinals with 17 points. Diego Tyson with 7. He had a big second half in the semifinals Wednesday night. We'll see if he becomes more a part of the offense here in crunch time. Peterson's second free throw makes it 46-43. Hickman ball, 4.5 to play here in this third place game of the Culver's Classic Shootout. Witt driving left, bumped by Thompson, goes down hard, no call, it'll stay here. The Hickman coaching staff looking with shrugged shoulders at the officials, wondering how nothing was called there. But the Cupies retain possession under their own basket. And this is Clark to Witt. Jimmy Witt backing it up, the freshman with 9 points. And now they'll be patient setting up their offense. Hill coming out to guard Clark. 46-43 our score. Hickman on top, Clark driving, baseline. Tried to get into the corner. Peterson with the save, bounces it off the Cupies to earn possession back for the Cardinals. And J.C. Johnson checks in for Hill. 46-43 our score halfway through the fourth period. Winner gets third place, loser fourth place here in this Culver's Classic tournament. Peterson uses Chigbagu to help break the pressure. Now Tyson, open look for three. No good. Cardinals were all over the offensive glass. It looked like Peterson and Chigbagu may have both kind of knocked each other out of the way of that one. And so Hickman ball with 3:40 to play and a 3-point lead. Clark. Dorma. Back to Clark. Guarded by Peterson. And now a timeout for Columbia Hickman. This will be a full timeout. 3:33 to play. Hickman 46. Raytown South 43. Again, the nightcap here should be a doozy with undefeated Lee Summit West taking on the Blue Spring South Jaguars. 13-2 versus 15-0 with the number 1 and number 7 ranked teams in the A10varsity.com poll. It was a barn burner on Wednesday night as Shaquille Harrison, the star forward for the Titans, hitting a difficult leaner in the paint in the final seconds to provide the margin of victory in Lee Summit West's 58-56 victory over these Raytown South Cardinals. The Jaguars earning their spot in the championship game with a 55-43 win over Hickman. But before we move on to the championship game, we've got 3 minutes and 33 seconds of suspense and action here in the consolation game. So Hickman basketball with a 3-point lead. 46-43 is our score. Clark, difficulty on the inbounds. And he gets it in play. And now back in the hands of the senior Chris Clark. Jimmy Witt driving right. Leaner from the baseline, no good. Berry up high for the rebound, but lost it, and it's handed off to Peterson as the Cardinals push it up the floor. 3:15 to play, trailing by 3. Earl Peterson guarded by Chris Clark, and now Harold Roberts. Roberts has seen more action here in this third place game than we saw him Wednesday night, but he's been productive with 7 points. Johnson with the 3, long but offensive board to Peterson. Saw some space there, so he drove but missed it. And now Dorma has the rebound go off his foot, but it ends up in the hands of Witt. Into the front court, under 3 minutes to play now. Hickman basketball and a 3-point lead. 46-43, the Cupies on top. This is Berry facing his man, top of the circle. Now he turns and hands off to Chris Clark. Nice bounce pass, and the finish by Johnson off the bench with 11 points. The lead is 5, the largest of the game. Chigbagu quickly the other way, trying to get some points back, but he misses. Berry with the rebound and the foul on the Cardinals. So to the free throw line goes Columbia Hickman, trying to build on a 48-43 lead. Foul going against Chigbagu, who's got 2. 1-1 coming for Andrew Berry, who's done plenty of work on the glass, just 2 points, but has defended and rebounded well and helping keep Columbia Hickman close, and now building a 5-point lead and an opportunity to grow that further. Rattled around and out, went the free throw, and now it's Peterson for the Cardinals, trailing by 5, 2:10 to play here in the fourth quarter. And now Coach Ostrich wants a timeout. 2:10 to play, 48-43, Hickman on top here in the Culver's Classic Shootout on 810varsity.com. Our broadcast brought to you by A&B CarStar, collision or repair. A&B CarStar has locations throughout the Kansas City metro area. Check us out online for the closest location to you at carstar.com or call the Riverside location for more information. 816-741-6966. A&B CarStar, proud to be the title sponsor of 810varsity.com and sponsor high school sports year-round throughout the metro. So, Cardinals basketball trailing by 5, just over 2 minutes to play. Ray South led by as many as 12 early in the second quarter, but it was a big 11-0 run late in the half Check that late in the third quarter. That brought Hickman into the lead for the first time since scoring the opening point of the game on a Cecil Williams free throw. We seesawed back and forth with 3 more lead changes and 3 ties to get to where we are now with Hickman on top 48-43. This is Peterson, who leads all scorers with 18, rises over his man for 3 and hits. Earl Peterson over Dorma. He's got 20, and the lead is down to 2 with under 2 minutes to play. Clark leaves it out on the wing. Johnson to Dorma. 48-46, 1:45 to play in the fourth quarter. Hickman with the 2-point lead and the ball. Witt, Johnson, Clark, Berry, and Dorma on the floor for Hickman. It's Roberts, Johnson, Tyson, Chigbagu, and Peterson for the Cardinals. Under a minute and a half now. Witt guarded closely by Roberts, but doing well to keep his distance. Saw Tyson guarding Clark there wince a little bit as he changed directions while trying to stay in front of him. Remember, he turned his ankle in the first quarter, and he's getting a workout here trying to keep Clark in front of him. Approaching a minute to play. They're going to have to give a foul here eventually. Tyson does so with a little authority there as Clark got shoved back near the timeline. You can definitely see that the lateral movement, the repeated lateral movement by Diego Tyson was causing some trouble on what must be a sore ankle. Eventually giving the foul here with 1:06 to play. Clark to the free throw line. He's got 7 points. First trip to the free throw line. Rattles around and out. Chigbagu slaps the rebound with his left hand. And it remains a 1-possession game as we go under a minute to play. 57 seconds to play. Hickman 48. Ray South 46. Johnson. Tyson, 3 from the corner for the lead. No good. Rebound tapped out of bounds. Officials not conferring it was an official, conferring with Chigbagu. A little grin and signals that it'll stay at this end of the floor with 46 seconds left and a 2-point game. We're also brought to you tonight by Christian Brothers Roofing. If you're going to trust the roof over your head, you need to trust your roofing company. With Christian Brothers Roofing Company, you get years of experience and integrity. Don't wait until you know there's a problem. Contact us for a complimentary 16-point roof and gutter inspection at Christian Brothers Roofing, 816-453-ROOF, or at 453roof.com. So the final minute of play here in the consolation game, Columbia Hickman 48, Raytown South 46. It'll be Cardinals basketball coming out of the timeout. Tyson just missed a 3 that would have given them the lead, but off the rebound, the carom out of bounds off of Hickman. So Coach Brad Ostrich drawing up a play in his huddle. As the Cupies hit the floor with Dorma, Clark, Witt, Johnson, and Berry, the same 5 from where we last left off. The Cardinals with the basketball, trailing by 2. They have 1 timeout remaining. The next foul by the Cardinals would put Hickman in the double bonus. And it remains a 1-and-1 situation for the Cardinals if they are to be fouled, as the next foul would just be number 7 against Hickman. Tyson off of curl, and now Peterson. Jump shot from the baseline, no good. Chigbagu with another offensive rebound, has it swatted by Dorma, but it ends up in the hands of Johnson. Now bounce pass to Roberts, who finishes. Great look by Earl Peterson from beyond the free throw line. A bounce pass to the left block, and Harold Roberts with the finish, and we're tied at 48, 34 seconds left. Earl Peterson, the senior, delivering with a great pass to Harold Roberts, who now has 9 off the bench. He's picked up some of the scoring slack left by the hobbled junior guard Diego Tyson. They've combined for 16. Tyson had 21 on Wednesday night. Roberts with just 4 off the bench, but 9 big points for the junior Harold Roberts here this evening. Full timeout was called by the Cardinals, I guess. They now, scoreboard now showing that they have no timeouts. The Cupies with 2 timeouts, and they have the basketball with just over half a minute to play. So we'll see what they draw up out of the timeout. It's been Clark and Witt as the primary ball handlers, but we've seen the young guard Johnson, number 20, knock down 3 threes off the bench and has played a majority of this second half. So whether or not we see them wind down the clock is probably not as much a question as what they actually do upon making a move. Ray South will allow Witt to play in this third-place game at the Culver's Classic. It's Witt and Clark out high. Johnson, Dorma, and Barry inside the front court. Under 20 seconds to play now. Witt, and now as he starts to make a move down the right perimeter, timeout Cupies with 16 and a half seconds to play. Great action here from the Culver's Classic. Also other tournament action to keep your eye on at 810varsity.com, including the Baser Linwood Invitational, Shawnee Mission West Invitational on the Kansas side, and championship night here at Lee Summit High School living up to its billing as well. Follow live brackets and watch games online at 810varsity.com, the new home for Kansas City High School sports. If you like 810 Varsity now, buckle your seatbelts as a new redesign is set to launch in a few weeks. Team and league pages with full sport coverage from football to soccer to wrestling. And of course, no one brings more games live online than 810varsity.com. Over 250 broadcasts this school year, live or archive. Watch the games online at 810varsity.com. Coming out of the timeout, it'll be Hickman basketball. All tied up at 48. 16 and a half seconds left. They trailed by as many as 12. They've led by as many as 5. But the last 5 points have gone to the Cardinals to pull back even. Same 5 on the floor for the Cupies out of the timeout. Clark, Dorma, Barry, Johnson, Witt. It's Chigbagu, Roberts, Johnson, Peterson, and Taylor for the Cardinals. It's in Witt's hands. 15 seconds to play. Jimmy Witt standing at the timeline, letting time go down. Now under 10 seconds to play. Jimmy Witt will make his move. He's guarded by Johnson. Witt, the freshman, at the elbow. Out to Clark. 4 seconds. Clark for 3. Hits! Chris Clark. And time runs out. Third place goes to the Hickman Cupies as senior Chris Clark nails a 3 from the left wing in the final seconds. Chris Clark, 10 points, none bigger than the 3 that ripped through the nylon just before the buzzer sounds. And the Cupies from Columbia, Hickman High School, will leave Lee Summit with the third place trophy. And what an effort from the Cupies to battle from a double-digit deficit. Witt on the drive, got to the elbow, kicked it to the senior, made a quick move to his right and knocked it down to send Hickman back to Columbia on a high note. Final score, Hickman 51, Raytown South 48. Championship game upcoming, and they've got a lot to live up to after that consolation game. So Hickman will take third place, Raytown South fourth. Coming up in about 15 minutes, Lee Summit West, the undefeated Titans, taking on Blue Spring South for the championship. You are watching the Culver's Classic on 810varsity.com.